Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of Kayfabe Comparisons. My name is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, and I am joined here once again by the king of the Kayfabe kickflip, Mr. Wex breakin the Lawson. Wex, how we living today?
Hey, dude, we're living great today. Fucking fantastic weather finally in Nashville today. And if you saw my Instagram story, you might have saw me eat shit skateboarding today, so I didn't do too good on the kayfabe stuff and the flipping. Did some little shit eating on the ass, but it wasn't too bad. It woke me up. It was a good little boost in my lunch break. Great weather, good wrestling to talk about.
I am into it. We had to make a little audible. We tried to schedule this show to where we're having, current events versus nostalgia pretty much all the time. Every now and then we're going to get a nostalgia versus nostalgia show just because of the sake of scheduling and the way things worked out. And this week that's what happened. We were really hyped to cover MLW Super Fight, but we thought that it was a pay-per-view. We didn't realize it was just a TV taping that they were making a big deal for the live crowd, which that's awesome. I'm not trying to dog on MLW, but I will say this. Until MLW is putting on pay-per-views, we're not covering them on the show. Sorry, guys. Love you to death.
Yeah, I wore the Alex Kane shirt out of respect.
Yeah.
Out of respect.
Oh, everyone knows how much we love Alex Kane. Love him to death. And honestly, I like the idea of MLW. But guys, we got to watch a minimum of 6 hours of wrestling a week just for this show, let alone keeping up with AEW or, if there is a decent storyline in NXT every now and then or in NWA or GCW or whatever else. So, we can't keep up with all of it. So until they start running pay-per-views, we just can't cover them yet. But today, since we had that horrific, probably the worst Elimination Chamber ever, you think so?
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life when it comes to Elimination Chamber, and the fact it's the fake chamber too.
Agreed. So we actually went a decade back. We went 10 years back to 2012, and we called that audible. It's going to be WWE Elimination Chamber 2012 versus TNA's Destination X from 2007. So it's a 15-year versus a 10-year comparison here. I'm pretty excited about it. We were already planning on covering Destination X 2007. What's really wild is that I've been listening a lot to the My World podcast with Jeff Jarrett, right? Are you a fan of that podcast?
Of course. I love My World 100%. I'm a fan.
So it's a really good one. They just covered Against All Odds in 2007. And it is kind of crazy how, there were so many more people watching the shows than watching the pay-per-views. I mean, some of them were talking less than 10,000 people. So it's even now, it's I wonder how many people have even seen these shows that we're covering. You know what I mean? So if you can, tweet at us. Let us know. Were you watching TNA pay-per-views in 2007? Are you part of the few 10,000 there?
I know I definitely wasn't watching it in 07 unless it was if I was flipping through stations and it happened to be on, then I'd be like, oh, I'll watch a match of this. But I wasn't actively keeping up with TNA at the time. Yeah,
it's just crazy that your TV show is bringing in close to 2 million people. Ratings that AEW and WWE would kill for at this point. And your pay-per-view is getting 20,000 buys. What is that? That's awful. That's just, I don't know. That sucks. But what can you do?
I mean, honestly, in 2007, the track record of some of the shit they've done on pay-per-view and what they did on this one, I can understand why people don't want to buy them. And they'd rather just watch the free TV because it's free.
That's totally true. Well, before we get into that show, let's go to our favorite part of every episode. It's Wexley Spills the Tea. Fill me up, baby.
Oh, we're going to fill you up real nice into the brim today. And I'll go ahead and start off with the most recent news. Vince McMahon just appeared on the Pat McAfee podcast.
Yes.
A little bit earlier before we did this. And he now has confirmed that he's going to induct The Undertaker into the Hall of Fame and confirmed that Pat McAfee will have a match at WrestleMania. He just doesn't have an opponent for him yet. And the rumor is, he's going to be the guy he's going to face, Vince McMahon. So I really don't know about that. Vince McMahon getting in the ring at this point in his career. I think that's a bad move.
Maybe it'll be Corey Graves.
Or maybe he'll get Austin Theory, since that's his little.
Yeah, that could probably be pretty good, actually. McAfee seems pretty good bell to bell. We've got a very small sample size, but that match with Adam Cole was really good. Really good.
Maybe Vince could work in a tag match.
Yeah, possibly. But who would McAfee tag with?
he's find an NXT guy. He's since he has the whole connection there, many people, Pat McAfee, he has a connection.
Pete Dunne, maybe. They had that little stable there for a while.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. Pete Dunne. That'd be a great tag team match. Pete Dunne and McAfee.
Yeah.
Versus Theory and McMahon. Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good.
All right, moving on along. Former WWE talent, current AAA wrestler, former UFC heavyweight champion, Cain Velasquez is charged with attempted murder.
Yeah,
San Diego.
I saw
He tried
that.
to tried to shoot this guy who apparently molested some younger family member of his, but then he missed him and shot the guy's dad. And yeah, you can't just go out shooting people. And I mean, I agree with the cause.
Yeah. You can't shoot him.
You can't just go out there shooting people. I mean, and why didn't he just go beat the guy up?
Yeah, I mean, that's
maybe
you're a
he was
UFC
just
heavyweight champion.
so mad. I mean, it's a very serious situation that he's had to go ahead and get the strap. He said, "Get the strap." He didn't even no questions asked. But so I don't think he's going to get out of jail for a while. So yeah, good luck to you, Cain. Good luck.
Probably not. He's probably going to get about 15 or so for that. What else we got on the list there?
Other big news, Triple H, he's been dealing with his heart stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's basically said that he's probably never likely to wrestle again due to that heart condition. And he just got another blow. His right-hand assistant, top executive, Lisette Pineda, who held the position of manager of global talent strategy for basically, their whole global NXT domination that he was trying to do. And that was like his right-hand executive in the company, and they just let her go. So I feel like not very good news for Paul lately.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like he has this heart issue, and then the entire future that we all thought of for the WWE is now completely erased. Like, yeah, it's wild. It's wild how that happened.
Everyone dreamed that Vince was going to die or retire,
and Triple H was going to take over,
hand it off to Triple H, and he was going to take it over.
That's not happening now. Like that. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh no, he'll still run it. He's just not going to." Like, dude, there's no way. There's no way that with a serious health condition, it's probably going to be permanent. Like, it's going to go to Stephanie. Yeah. But I mean, Stephanie, what, God forbid, without Triple H? I don't know. I don't know about the booking on that side.
Yeah. It's very questionable. Yeah. Very questionable decision.
Not that it's been great recently, but Yeah.
But so good news. One of my favorite, actually probably my favorite WWE wrestler, Finn Balor, is the new U.S. champ. He dethroned Damian Priest after his almost 300-something day reign. Do you think this is a sign of good things to come for Finn Balor, or is it going to be one of those stupid 2-week pushes that always happens with the WWE?
I mean, I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is still the Intercontinental Champion, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Sami Zayn now?
No, it is Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn beat him on that tape SmackDown. So it is Sami Zayn again.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, nobody cares about those titles. It's just.
So do you think the mid-card titles are just basically?
I don't even think they're mid-card titles anymore.
No prestige in WWE.
I don't think they're mid-card titles anymore. I think that they're pre-show dark match title. I mean, they're just not. No one cares about those titles right now, and it sucks.
Hopefully, after they do this, title unification thing, that they become more important again.
I agree. And
maybe that's what they need to do.
We need the WWE Championship and we need the Intercontinental Championship. We need those two titles, and that's it. That's all you need.
All right.
And we don't need a divided brand split either. I hate that shit. Like, first of all, we have an AEW now too. You already have competition. We don't need a brand split. The fact is,
there's never truly a brand split because people show up on both shows anyways. They always make up some stupid wild card rule or superstar invitational, and there's only this many, and they break it immediately. It's just fucking dumb.
Women's championships needed to be blended. Tag team championships need to be blended. We got to stop doing this, man. It's ridiculous.
Condense it down, but make it more prestigious.
Yes.
All right. One of the last big things in news for WWE is they just went ahead and shut down the network in Russia. Shut it down altogether. I mean, for obvious reasons, but they seem to love that blood money from Saudi Arabia, though. So I really don't know where their morals quite lie, but they're doing it for to look good for somebody else, to make somebody else happy. I don't think Vince truly cares, to be honest.
Oh, I highly doubt that he cares.
Exactly.
Yeah, I highly doubt that he cares. For sure.
All right. Well, I wonder if he cares about this, though. The big, big, big fucking news that ROH is now all elite. Tony Khan has bought the company.
Crazy.
Crazy.
What if this whole thing is a work with Cody too? What if Cody comes in and it's the invasion storyline and he's like, not so fast. I actually bought the company. Blah 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 blah.
That would be awesome, and they could work it right because they know what not to do now from WWE's fucking. I don't know what you want to call it. Just a big fuck up when it came to the invasion storyline, and they've already kind of teased something that you predicted. They're going to use ROH going forward as more of like their developmental territory.
Yeah. And it's going to be kind of like the old NXT was, where you'll have some of these former Ring of Honor guys on the main roster who were big names, go and do a run down in Ring of Honor. It's going to be Dark and Elevation. It's going to be those two shows. It's just going to be Ring of Honor instead. And they might change the set. They'll probably change the setup. I think it'll be better though than Dark and Elevation are now. I think it'll be like akin to like how NXT used to be, because you'll have the bigger names on there, and I'm sure. I mean, they're still running. I don't know. I don't think you're gonna have the bigger names. I mean, I think you'll probably start off with like Jonathan Gresham and like. Oh well,
Jericho's already teased doing a run and wanting to do a Ring of Honor wants to go for the world title. So.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I think they're going to still treat it with prestige. It's not going to be, even though it's developmental, like I said, it'll be like the NXT where it was developmental. You still got guys who literally can build their careers up, just like how many people have built their careers from Ring of Honor. Like,
I hear
it's the ultimate developmental territory if you think about it.
I hear you. I agree. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm also what I'm honestly most excited about is for the potential for an AEW streaming platform. And adding all that content from Ring of Honor. I mean, that's 20 years worth of content.
There's already rumors going on that, since they're owned by Warner Media, there's going to be a HBO Max streaming deal that's going to include something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be down to pay an extra, $8 a month or whatever, because I already have HBO Max to pay and have like the AEW wing of it or whatever. I think that would be very cool. But, yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. I think that this is a positive thing for the business, to be honest with you. And I think it's a positive thing for AEW. And I think it's a negative thing for WWE. I think that I think when you start slimming it down to just being like, I mean, realistically, there's 3 small companies and there's 2 big ones, It's like there's NWA, there's GCW, there's Impact. Those are the 3 ones. Impact is kind of the ringleader of the really smalls. And then there's MLW as well. So it's like Impact is like the ringleader of the smaller companies. And then now there's AEW and WWE. I mean, there's a big jump between, like, AEW is more like the stopgap between the smalls and the big. Like, there's still a massive, massive gap between WWE and AEW. But I think AEW is slowly closing in on that gap, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I think this is like you said, a huge get for them, even though there are a lot of casual WWE fans are out there talking like, oh, it's a dying dead company. Who cares? But like for wrestling fans who watch AEW, like this is amazing. This is exactly what we want.
Yeah.
We don't care that it's a company that is on hiatus. It's not dead. We know what the fuck's going on, because I bet half of these people who say that haven't even watched Ring of Honor probably ever. If they have, it's probably only been like recently right before it went out. But dude, I'm definitely excited too. I think it's going to be awesome. It's just going to build more. I mean, dude, competition builds better wrestling, even though lately WWE hasn't been doing anything that good, which I don't understand with all this competition, but hopefully somebody will get it together. We'll get it moving in the right direction over there.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, I don't want to hate WWE. I don't want to talk shit about them, but when they do bullshit, you gotta call them out.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like we're going to call out a lot of stuff here on, probably one of the most, I don't know. It's not the worst TNA pay-per-view that we've ever watched.
Definitely not. There's some good stuff on here.
Good stuff, but there's still some pretty whack stuff too.
There's a lot of whack stuff.
Definitely very interesting. I'll say that. Very interesting.
It is interesting. So without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Today's show is TNA Destination X 2007 versus WWE's Elimination Chamber from 2012. Let's jump right into our Wayback Machine, go 15 years back to TNA Destination X. The production package for like the marquee matches was actually a pretty decent quality. I thought the promo package and production package leading into the show was pretty good. It was definitely like a 2007 vibe, but like for that era, I thought it was good for what it was.
Yeah, I really like the narrator that they have on a lot of their stuff in this era. That really deep, I don't know. He's got that really good movie trailer voice.
Right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And the first match here is LAX versus Team 3D for the TNA NWA Tag Team Championships. Yeah, I thought it was a hot way to kind of start off the show. It's got big like WWF hardcore match vibes, in my opinion. Not really in the worst way, but not in a great way either. It really wasn't my style, but I thought it was worked well for what it was. The crowd absolutely loved it. And it was a good brawl until it kind of became like the Royal Rumble for a minute. It's like both teams just had gangs that fought and then like went back, and then it went back to being a regular match, which was, I don't know. It was a whirlwind. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't good either. I gave it 2 beers overall. What did you think about LAX versus Team 3D?
So yeah, this match, it was called the Ghetto Brawl, and I was like, all right, it just looks like a regular brawl. I don't know what makes it ghetto. And then when they brought in the Street Thugs and Pac-Man Jones came in the ring for no reason, that I was just like, all right, that's what makes it ghetto, because Pac-Man Jones loved to hang out in the hood, even though he was rich.
Yeah,
he did a lot of fun, questionable stuff in Tennessee. So, but yeah, that's definitely what made it the Ghetto Brawl, was Pac-Man Jones. And yeah, I mean, like you said, great, just like crowd pleasing match.
Yeah,
it just got people hyped up. Like, it wasn't a technical masterpiece. It wasn't even like anything to write home about, because it was, Homicide and Hernandez. They just did some cool dives and some big weapon spots and like table spots, but like that's about it. And Bubba just looks like such a generic motherfucker in this era. He just jeans and a t-shirt. Like Devon looks all badass, and Bubba just looks so fucking lame. And Johnny Rodz just looks so cheesy out there. But it was still fun, and yeah, I still like that Pac-Man Jones is there. Got that Tennessee Titan stuff, and that brawl, all that shit at the end was just too much. So yeah, I only went 2.5 beers.
Yeah, it was not great at all.
Crowd loved it though. Crowd fucking was great, and it was way better than LAX and the VKM, the Voodoo Kin Mafia. The crowd actually liked that match, but fuck.
Yeah, it was better, I would say, than that for sure. Yeah, but we'll get to the rest of the craziness here. We did get JB kind of running through the card, and then like young Rhino got some promo time too. It was kind of quick and to the point. It was okay. TNA and West kind of give us the rundown of the rest of the card. And then the next match here is James Storm and Jackie versus Petey Williams and Gail Kim in a double bull rope match. Yeah, so that's 2 so far. I just want to make sure we're keeping score here. That's the second match. That's the second gimmick match, right? So just want to make sure we're keeping score here.
That's 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Big miss on the Confederate flag on Jackie's hat. That definitely did not age well at all. Yeah, man, I don't know, just not good. None of this was very good. I'm always on the fence about James Storm, but I can definitely tell you that in 2007 he was not good enough to be in this position, just period, as a singles wrestler.
Nope.
And the rope breaks in a bull rope match just killed me. Like that, I didn't understand that at all. Match sucked. It wasn't good. I gave it a half a beer. Where are you at on it?
Yeah, literally have almost some of the same notes as you. I just have, Jackie wearing a rebel flag cowboy hat. That's sure an odd sight to see. Didn't age well. Doesn't really quite make any sense either, just because they said she's the pride of Tennessee. Get her a Tennessee cowboy hat. Those are easy to find. But and they're fucking from Nashville. Whatever. Fucking stupid. But yeah, match is pretty bad. Bad gimmick. It was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, not good
I didn't
at all.
like it at all. I gave it a beer for their effort because, they took some bumps. They did some shit, but it was just dumb.
Yeah, speaking of dumb, Scott Steiner cuts a promo back here, and that's always dumb.
But it's funny, at least. I at least love laughing at that. I'll say that. It's at least humorous.
And then Christian, slides in like he's Marty McFly asking Doc for help. Like, he's just, way overacting and just like, what am I going to do? It was not good. It was just a little too cheese for me. Christian is better than that. You're better than that, Christian. Come on now. Not a good segment. I literally typed TNA LOL. Like, it's just it is what it is there. The next match here is Austin Starr versus Sinchi. It's a cross-face chicken wing match.
So that's 3 for 3.
3 for 3. We're 3 for 3, guys. Taking score there. 3 for 3 gimmick matches. 3 for 3 silly stipulations. I wanted it to be better, but it really wasn't. I guess I've seen these guys in better matches. Austin just kind of cheese sold, over the top sold, the whole match, and it suffered because of it. Match was way too long, too. Felt really drawn out. And then of course Austin Aries does the job, so that's probably why he was selling like an asshole. He kind of has that reputation nowadays anyway. It didn't click. Should have been awesome, and it was just about passable, and that was it. Also gave it 2 beers. That's where I was at with it. Where are you at on it?
Okay, yeah. I kind of had some of the same notes as you. Like, this is bad booking. It doesn't make sense to put these guys in a fucking submission match. I get the Bob Backlund storyline, but like, it was fucking stupid. They did not need this at this time. And I mean, like, the work itself was like crisp. I mean, there was not really any fuck ups. I know, like you said, Austin Aries was doing some of that ridiculous selling. I mean, I know Loki's known to have a bad attitude. Was this just like the battle of the bad attitudes?
Yeah, it must be.
Like, this guy didn't want a job and this guy didn't want a job, so it was just they were doing some stupid bullshit. But it could have, like you said, it could have been a really good match. It just, this gimmick really hindered it, so I only went 2.5 beers also. So my number 1 and my number 3 have the same rating so far.
Same. Yep, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat on that. Let's keep it rolling here then, man. We got to check in on the poll for who the audience thinks might win the world title match. It's 2007, and it's not like 2022, so I get that at this point the engagement is a new concept.
And the text message thing?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I get this. Like, they're trying something new. I think this is actually before WWE is really doing it too. And I was like, that's cool. Points for that, for sure. Styles got a promo, and he's at his most southern at this point. Pure cheese promo. Just not good.
All I could think about was the gay community when I heard him, because he's just because of that same fucking southern drawl and the my Jesus.
Oh, yeah, he's just
he's not far removed from that era.
No, he's definitely not too far removed. God, it just keeps getting worse here though, man. The next match on the card is VKM versus the surprise entrance of Christy Hemme. Christy Hemme comes down and introduces the Heartbreakers, because I feel like no one knew who they were. They weren't over. No one cared. It's like she might as well just have introduced like the Brooklyn Brawler and Dudes that jumped Sir Drosy or something as like the other tag team. There's no heat there. And Billy Gunn like is probably the most sexist promo of all time. And also like he's the face here, which is really weird, like super weird. Yeah, it just wasn't good, man. It was a rough pay-per-view so far, this far into it. This match was really bad, super botchy. Man, the cup and like the spank spot was just really bad. Yeah, the whole match was embarrassing. Also, VKM just being the baby faces, plus the ending was just so poorly executed. -2 beers for me. Really bad, embarrassingly bad. Hated it. -2 beers. Where are you at on it?
I also hated it. I just didn't go negative. I just gave it a dud.
No, I hated it.
I mean, I didn't hate it. It was fucking stupid. Like, there was like so much wrong with this match. So much. Like you said, the Heartbreakers. And also, like, I didn't know who the fuck these people were. I was like, all right, they look like, like big jack guys, but who the fuck are they? I looked them up. They had like a very, very brief run in WWE and mostly worked Sunday Night Heat. Like, no one, like, this is what people talk about when they said TNA would literally sign anybody from WWE. And this is a prime example.
Yeah.
Who the fuck were these guys? They never had a match after this. They were never seen again.
After this match?
No, like that was it.
That's awesome. Good to know.
It was bullshit. Like, how is the big surprise going to be a team that no one's ever heard of? It was just fucking dumb. This is the worst version of the New Age Outlaws, whatever you want to call them. James Gang, Voodoo King Mafia.
Yeah.
Like, Road Dogg just is out of shape. Billy Gunn, like,
not good.
It's just bad. Just bad. And they got a really horrible, like, create a wrestler generic theme song. It's just like, exactly that generic guitar riff. It's just,
not good at all.
It sucks. Dud. Let's move it on to actually probably one of the better matches on the fucking card.
Oh, match of the night for sure. Before we get to that though, it's Christian Cage and Abyss. They get a promo, and it's easily the worst TNA show that we've covered on this podcast so far. And we've covered some duds, some stinkers, and this is the worst one for sure. So Jerry Lynn and Chris Saban actually got a solid production package, which I thought was awesome. It felt kind of like an old school UFC promo package too, which makes sense because they were on Spike and whatever. But like, I thought it was really well done. And then Yeah, so technically, I would say that the VKM Heartbreakers match, since it was the surprise, is kind of like a gimmick match because it's the surprise opponent, right?
I mean,
let's say 4 for 4. So we're 4 for 4.
We'll say 4 for 4 because there was a special stipulation thing, like a surprise opponent. So
4 for 4 on SIP so far, and Jerry Lynn versus Chris Saban is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Although I will say, for wrestling, for the two good wrestlers on the show, this is a good match for them to be in, and it proved to be the case for sure. This match definitely saved the whole show to me. Match was an absolute banger. I loved it. This is the best of this roster at the time, the best of this time period in TNA. Great, fast-paced, high-impact spots paired with like slower selling, like big, fast, pow, 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 boom, big bump, and they just lie there and let the crowd soak it up and breathe in, and like that. Just it's really well done. I think that's the best way to do this style. Awesome match, man. I really missed this Chris Saban too, with a little bit more meat on his bones. Just felt a little. He just seemed stronger here. But yeah, it was a fantastic match. Great shit. The post match was weird, but it didn't really hurt the match. So I went 4.5 beers on this one. I really enjoyed it. 4.5 beers for me.
Okay. I was almost right there with you, dude. I went just 4, not 4.5.
That's fair.
And the only thing that really fucked it up was that part in the beginning where the crowd was distracted by something else, like during the first
there
fall.
was something going on in the crowd. Yeah.
And it took it away from me because I just kept looking. I wanted to know what was going on because everyone was so excited. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? But after that, and like the first fall, like they really got back into it, got the crowd into it because the crowd was fucking wild for this one. And like you said, it was like that classic X Division style. Like they were talking about it. Jerry Lynn, he'd like be selling from like a big move, and they're like, "Oh no, Jerry Lynn looks like he's down." Then he'd get up and just go boom, 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 like 2 or 3 big moves, and they both just lay down, sell for a little bit longer. It was just fantastic. I really love like the air raid crash reversal from the pile driver. Dude,
yeah, that was cool.
Great. And even the fake Sting Christopher Daniels thing wasn't bad, and he looked really badass with that beard and the little thing on his eye. That was a look that didn't last,
that was cool. Long. I was like, I was like, man, you kind of should have kept that for a while. But
he almost had that perk angle, pre-perk angle.
I feel like there was a thing with him. Like, didn't Raven come back shortly around this time too? And like there was like a Raven and Christopher Daniels thing because Raven was like
actually
doing it,
there were
like
some
that
Raven posters in the background on a few of the interviews.
I feel like that's why he stopped doing it after that. But that's fine. Either way, I mean, whatever.
But yeah, he straight up looked like he had that pre-perk angle thing going on, like with the bald head and the beard.
Yeah, it looked good. Good. It was good.
Before, but if you want to, I mean, dude, yeah. So the next match is also. Let's just go ahead and I'll let you introduce it. Yeah,
well, before we get to the match, we had Jim Cornette getting some promo time in the back,
God.
and he offered Christy Hemme a secretary job because that's not sexist either.
He said, "Can you take dictation?"
Yeah, it was it was pretty yikes for sure. I did like the production package for the Elevation X structure, very cool to see. The Styles Rhino package was good as well. So the next match here is AJ Styles versus Rhino in an Elevation X match. So we are 6 for 6 with gimmicks.
Yes, 6 for fucking 6.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, listen, both these guys are great, especially at this time too. Rhino's in his prime. AJ Styles is AJ Styles, period. He's always been great bell to bell. Problem is, this isn't a match. It's not a wrestling match. It's a brawl. And to be honest, it's really a scaffold match. Like, and so even it's like it can't. I don't know. They tried to get the crowd involved, and they did a great job. Like, for it being a scaffold match, they did a pretty good job. They did everything that you could do and make it work. They took a couple bumps up there. They AJ hiding like in the X and having the crowd kind of give Rhino pointers was a good spot. Like, that worked out well for the live show. The production team constantly switching camera angles helped. Like, if you were watching this live on pay-per-view too, to kind of keep some of that excitement going. So I think that this one was executed the best out of the gimmick matches thus far. But that being said, I feel like both these guys would have had a much better wrestling match. So I went dead center on it. I just gave it 3 beers because I was like, look, they did their absolute best. If I like this compared to any other scaffold match is easily the best one. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, this is better than any other scaffold match I've seen. So I went right down the middle. 3 beers for me. AJ Styles versus Rhino and Elevation X. Where are you at on it?
Hey, I agree with some of the things that you said. You know, the little AJ hiding part, that was really cool. I've never really seen that spot, and I'm sure that was just something they thought of. They thought it looked cool, and the powder, just the few little extra things they did to add to it, just because you can only do so much being that high off the ring on a little area. They just, like you said, it was a scaffold match in the shape of an X. I can't rate a gimmick like this too high, so I only went 2 1/4 beers on it, and I'm glad it didn't drag on too long. And AJ Styles just looks so devastating with the neck brace on and the powder on his face, just laying there. Like they did a good job selling just how horrible and fucked up it was. So, like you said, production really helped this match a lot. But these just, when it's a gimmick match like this, like I don't know. I can't rate it too high as a wrestling match.
That's fair. I went 3. I felt like the middle was fine because I felt like production and gimmick was good, and like the work was as good as it could be for the situation. So that's,
I ain't mad at you. I'm not far off.
Let's keep it rolling here. We got a package for Steiner and Angle. Production was okay on that one. It's kind of one of the worst production packages on the show. The Angle promo like that he cut was really good. Very, very well done. Kurt Angle he's twacked out for sure, but he's cutting really good promos. And the match here is Scott Steiner versus Kurt Angle. It's hard hitting. To me, this is literally the reverse of AJ Styles and Rhino. Like, they made the best of what they could with a match that wasn't a match, and production really helped. Production was all over the place and missed a lot of bumps in this match. And also, Kurt Angle did his best, but Scott Steiner sucks. Scott Steiner's always been trash. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Scott Steiner's always been trash. The Steiners are a good tag team, but they're an overrated tag team. Like, I've never thought Scott Steiner was anywhere near being a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, ever. I've never understood why he was in the main event. Never made sense to me. Oh, God, Angle took a couple real cringy bumps there because of it, too. Just not good, man. Not a good match. I went 2 beers on this one. It was below average to me. Did not like it. Where are you on it?
I have the exact same rating as you.
Chicken dinner of the night so far.
Yes. 2 beers, and I agree with what the crowd chanted at the end of the match. That was weak. Because the finish was literally the most goddamn weak finish I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. They were setting up. It was borderline Undertaker and Hulk Hogan from Judgment Day in Nashville. Like that weakest fall down choke slam. No, dude, it was not. It was worse than that because it was a botch from Steiner. They could have. I don't know why they didn't just do something else for the finish, because that was a complete botch. Go for the sunset flip, then Steiner's grabbing the second rope. He holds it for 3 seconds, and then they go for the pin very slow. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? After Kurt Angle just got dropped on his head from a botched angle slam from Steiner, the match ends like this?
Terrible. It was terrible.
Then I know, they say Scott Steiner has the amateur background. That never translated well into wrestling for him.
No, it did not.
And I literally have some of the same notes. In my opinion, Scotty is the best as a tag guy. That's it.
Always, yeah.
A tag guy. He should never be a singles wrestler. Team. And I like his personality that he had as a singles wrestler. If he could just do that in a tag team, it could have worked. Because I loved his big bad booty daddy, the world's largest arms. It's funny as shit to me. It's dumb. But he's not a singles guy. He can't carry a match.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And this match sucked. I mean, especially Kurt Angle tried, but yeah. It was weak, just like the crowd said. Weak
sauce for sure.
And so and if you want to be correct about this was actually billed as a grudge match. So technically, yes, this was billed as a grudge match between Angle and Steiner. So that is technically a gimmick. So what are we, 6 for 6? Is that where we're at?
No, this one. Oh yeah, I guess so. A grudge match.
Is that 6 matches?
7. That's grudge 7 for 7.
A grudge match is some type of gimmick.
That's 7
they
for
just
7.
They didn't just say they're having a match. They said it was.
I feel like that's a stretch. That's a stretch. Saying a grudge match, because grudge matches are most pay-per-view matches. You know what I mean? They're blow-offs for feuds. So I don't know.
When you play Universe mode on the WWE game, grudge matches for it's
out of 9 matches. Out of 9 matches, 7 of them, 7 are gimmick matches. That's insane.
So far,
yeah. No. There's 7 total.
Oh, because the next match is another gimmick match.
It is,
so
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely,
is there a promo before this one?
It is, yeah. Samoa Joe got a really solid promo.
Oh, yeah, he did cut a good-ass promo.
It was a really good promo there. Samoa Joe's like work on the mic in this era is underrated too. Like I know everyone knows that he was good in the ring, but people forget about how great of a promo he was.
Man,
Solid work for sure.
Promo, I think.
I agree. I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I know some people would disagree, but I think Joe's always been really good on the stick. No homo. Then we get a package for Abyss and Sting in a last rights match. Holy shit, man! Just so many gimmicks. Gimmicks galore. It's a casket match essentially with just extra cheese on it because there's like a lifted thing that comes down from the rafters, and so they added like it's like a Sting Undertaker. This is what the Sting Undertaker match should have been, like a casket from the rafters match. Like that would have been cool. But anyway, it's Abyss. It was way too much blood, honestly. Like Sting got a gusher early on, and it hurt the match. Like this was an instance where like there was so much blood that I was like. This like they need to go home. Like it would just they needed they needed to wrap it up. And the tombstone spots were so hokey to me. It's just so much cheese. And it was too much blood for such a cheesy match, I think, if that makes sense. Then they like ruin the casket with a choke slam, and so Sting has to like lay on top of it, holding the pieces over top just to make the finish work. It was just I don't know, dude. Either way, it wasn't long, so that helped, but it was still below average. But I did think it was actually better than like the VKM match. So I went 2 1/4 beers. I just gave it literally a swig more because the actual bell to bell wasn't bad. It was just kind of hokey. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it. Where are you at on Abyss versus Sting here?
I fucking hated this match. I thought the stipulation was fucking dumb. I mean, it started off like a nice normal match. Like the work rate wasn't bad, but once that candle busted Sting's head open, it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, you were out.
It just fucking went south very quickly. When Abyss called for the fucking casket, you heard Fire Russo chants just like reverberating throughout the whole arena because obviously this was his fucking idea. Like you said, the tombstone spots were horrible. When he broke a tombstone with a baseball bat, like that's just what?
No, it's super hokey.
Like you could have did a cinder block or something else better that'd make that look more realistic, and I get this for the fucking spot for the match, but bad. So it was cheap. Probably wasn't even concrete. It was really shitty, cheap concrete. It was bad. Just, I've never liked Abyss. I've never liked his work. So maybe I'm being a little biased. I just think he sucks. But so that just made this even worse for me. I gave this thing a half a beer. I thought, it was trash.
God, wow, okay.
I thought it was such a weak crash through the tombstone from Abyss. Like, and just like we said, the blood hurt this.
Yeah.
And in the next show we're going to cover, there was a match that would have benefited from blood, but this is like the opposite. This is a match that's like, it's just too much for the cheese. And like the candles were like plastic fake bullshit. Like it just,
I agree.
You could tell that didn't bust them open.
Yeah.
TNA 07. Like when people talk about TNA doing TNA shit, this is the prime definition of TNA out TNAing themselves.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Let's keep it rolling here, man. Let's wrap up this Destination X 2007. We got a production package for Joe and Christian. It was really good stuff. Then we got a weird Islander entrance for Joe, and I really wasn't a fan of that. I don't know. I just feel like that was a little miss.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. That was kind of just.
Yeah, I don't think that Joe's not the kind of guy. Yeah, that's not.
No, he's a killer. He doesn't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, that's not. Yeah, it is what it was. So the match here is actually dope, though. It's Christian Cage versus Samoa Joe for the NWA TNA Heavyweight Championship. It was hard hitting, dude. The bumps were really solid. The striking was super snug. Like they were wrestling very strong style in this match. Both of them. I felt like Christian kind of to the smart marks, to people like us who dissect matches. Like this one is like him, and I kind of remember him around this time being like he's still the WWE guy, kind of. He still wrestled guys like Ken Shamrock and these other like WWE kind of guys, and I think that this was him kind of saying like, hey, I can stand, I can throw snug spots too, you know. And he did. I thought it was very good. The crowd brawling was even pretty good, which is rare that I enjoyed that, but I thought it was good. I will say that I still think that Lynn and Saban was match of the night, but this one was very close. I really liked it a lot. Some very solid false finishes and really great selling. Thought it was a solid main event. I went 4 beers. I gave Saban and Lynn 4.5. So 4 beers on this one. Very, very good match. If you were looking for 2 matches to watch off of a show, I'd say, Samoa Joe versus Christian Cage is one to watch, and then Chris Saban versus Jerry Lynn is the number 1 to watch. What did you think about this main event, though, Joe and Christian?
another chicken dinner, 4 beers, which is the exact same rating I gave the Saban and Jerry Lynn match. I thought these were equal, but on different levels, different types of matches. And
so who's your match of the night of the two then? If you
out
have
of the two, if I had to pick one, I'll go with this one, just because it had a bigger story, a bigger feel. Like
that's fair. That's
the energy in the crowd, like it had that big fight feel, that big title match. Like everybody was really into all the, like lots of good false finishes, good like near falls, double downs, like just lots of good. It was great. Like you said, very stiff, like and tight. All the work was great. I love Joe just standing out of the way from the sunset flip powerbomb.
Yeah.
Like I just love little subtle shit like that. It's just great. And dude, Joe, like with the like such sick submission transitions, like smooth too. Like when you wouldn't even just it's just so great. And I hope to see Joe be a part of the new I hope to see Joe a part of the new ROH when it comes back. To be honest, some capacity, whether
that would be very cool. I agree. Like even if he was like if he was like the William Regal essentially of it,
like or something. Or William Regal. That's a guy who could be fucking. Ooh, yeah, but like, don't want to go too far.
Regal running Ring of Honor? What? Exactly. That'd be so good.
He'd be a good booker, but not to go too far off of the rabbit hole. We'll get back off the trail. But dude, yeah, I like the finish. Very unique finish. Cool little thing with the heel, but good stuff there.
Yeah,
it was it wasn't too dirty of a finish to where it was just like it was nice. It worked the ref behind the back, and I just liked it. Good. 4 beers. I agree. You should go watch this match. Probably one of Christian's better TNA matches that he had during his run. And I just thought it was really funny during this era. His jacket, the logo looked like the Lugs logo for his name.
Nice.
It just reminded me of the Lugs commercials that used to come on during Raw.
Love it. I love it.
Sponsored by Lugs.
Sponsored by Lugs. Overall, the show kind of sucked. There were 2 really good matches on the show, but the rest were so bad that I would be like, if it's a stream or skip, I'm going with a skip on this one. You don't really need to watch Destination X. Jerry Lynn and Chris Saban have had a banger for sure, but they've had, I'm pretty sure most of the time they wrestled, it's a banger. So you can probably just catch a different show.
Yeah, just go look up Joe versus Christian, and you'll have a good time just watching that match. And it's funny, the way I found this match to watch it online, it was on like some random porn site that had all the TNA pay-per-views on there.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, off air we'll talk, but there's a spot you can always watch it. But
wow, no, it's just random as hell. It's just like, and like the ad at the beginning was like porn, and I was just like, all right, I guess I gotta watch this porn for
so
like
we can
5
watch
seconds.
TNA. Oh my goodness, but
isn't that funny though? It's hosted on a porn site. Good shit.
Good shit. Okay, that being said, speaking of good shit, let's talk about WWE Elimination Chamber 2012. So we kind of scrambled. Like, I was expecting this weekend to watch an MLW pay-per-view, and when I realized it wasn't a pay-per-view, I was like, oh no, we got to call a last-minute audible. So I was just like, look, let's go to 2012. And this will be, just so you guys know, we're not going to follow 2012 as like a storyline year. 2002 WWE, 2007 WWE, and 2017 TNA. Those are the 3 years that we're really trying to cover as far as nostalgia shows go. But if we ever get in a bind like this again, it will probably be with the 2012 era because there was some good stuff. On this show, we got Daniel Bryan as the World Heavyweight Champion. We got CM Punk as the WWE Champion. And we're on the road to WrestleMania for Cena versus Rock 1, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's lots of really good
Twice in a lifetime.
Yeah. Twice in a lifetime. Yeah. This is still when they were marketing as once in a lifetime for sure. But, I thought the opening package to the show was great. Not hyped for Sheamus, and they seem to be pushing him really hard on the poster and then in this opening package, and he didn't even really have a match. It was really weird.
Is he injured or something?
No, because he's on the show. He just didn't have a match. He's on the show. Yeah, we'll get to it. All right. So, So the opening match here, which I think is genius. All right. Before we even get to the show, I want to say that, like, the rundown of this card, the way the card was put together and whoever was producing the bell-to-bell action, the in-ring matches, deserves an award. This was a really well put-together show, and the bell-to-bell on the majority of it was pretty good. There was one match that was trash, but we'll get to that.
I want probably because this is like the era that led into like the good. This was leading into the good era of WWE, like that 2013 to 16. Yeah.
I'd say it was actually like 2013 to 18. Yeah. That's
18,
with a good 5-year run there. The 18 is when it really started kind of going downhill. Yeah, that feels right. But let's get into the match here. It's the first Elimination Chamber. It's the WWE Championship. Smart, right off the bat, get it out of the way. First match. Listen to these entrants, dude. Chris Jericho, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, CM Punk. All former world champions by 2022, at least. All of these guys have been world heavyweight champions, including R-Truth as the NWA champion. So, like, God, like, kind of crazy, man. The open was a little sloppy with CM Punk kind of trying to get his feet beneath him. And I've always said this about CM Punk, man. CM Punk can have amazing matches, but he can also have pretty mediocre matches, too. I do think that CM Punk, and this is not really a slight, but he's always as good as his dance partner. And that's not to say that, like, the open was bad with Kingston, but it got better as they got more people into it, if that makes sense. Kofi looked great for sure. I thought Ziggler looked awesome in this match. Came in like a madman. They had a really great exchange with the three of them. Great work right there in the first half of the match for sure. R-Truth was even on point too. We're kind of getting into the beginning of that almost main event level push he got there for a little bit. And I'm kind of happy to see it. I'd forgotten a lot about this era, but this match was great, man. It's one of the better chamber matches we've covered, at least for sure. Everybody got their shine. Everybody that lost had like a solid finish given to them, so no one really looked like really weak. Like it was all very well booked in the match. Like the bell to bell was booked really well. Even commentary was great. JBL was on fire. I loved it, man. Awesome chamber match. I gave it 5 solid beers. Great match.
Ooh.
Really enjoyed it. Great match. Where are you at on it?
I'm not quite as high as you, but I want to go back to what you said about all the guys looking good and how it was booked well. That goes back to that X Division match on the Impact pay-per-view from last week with Chris Bay, Jake something. Like everybody looked good in that match. Like even though people, there could only be one winner in a multi-man match like that.
Yeah, good callback. You're right.
It was booked totally well. Everyone got their shine. No one looked weak. And it was just fucking fantastic. R-Truth doing some crazy bumps, and so Kofi Kingston too. And dude, this version of the chamber makes it so much more meaningful.
It's the perfect one.
The risk of the danger. It's just.
And the pods were a little more reinforced. It's not like the original one where they're like way too tall and like you could barely had any room up there. Everything felt that this was the right one. This is the
this was the best version of the chamber. Yeah. And dude, just every time someone takes a bump on the metal, it's just like, it just has so much more impact. The Miz is so hateable during this era. This is right after his world title run. But it's like it's great. Like I hated it then, but when I look back, I'm like, wow, like he was doing a good job. He was making me fucking pissed off. And Booker T on commentary, I forgot how good he was. He really wasn't good. I just thought he was hilarious on commentary.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I love when he would have his Fave 5 and it would change like throughout the night, but he would still have the Fave 5
moment of SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, and Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. You can not get over that. But, yeah, I went 4 beers, almost 5 beers. So I can see why you went 5, but I didn't quite go 5. 4 beers, still, like, probably one of the better chamber matches I've ever seen. Jericho, everybody did a great job.
Dude, everybody did great, man. Maybe I think the reason why I block out some of this era is because of how shitty that title looked, man. This is the worst. It's the worst wrestling title of all time. This is the worst one.
Belt. That's one of the reasons I hated John Cena. Because I was like, he's the reason that we have this stupid fucking belt, John Cena.
The worst thing about the absolute worst thing about it. After the match, we got a recap of Santino winning the Battle Royal on SmackDown. Then he vomits some eggs. I don't know. I mean, the haha was there. Santino was over, no doubt about it. He was over. The crowd was into Santino Marella, and we'll get into that for sure. And this is I guess it's just one of those times. You know what? Look, we're between Royal Rumble, we're between Mania. If you're going to give Santino a shine at a pay-per-view, one of these offshoots is probably the best time to do it. So I get that. He was over. People ate it up. They loved the segment. The whole crowd's laughing. It was what it was. The package for Cena and Rock was really cool too. Yeah, man, it's wild, dude. It's crazy to think that Rock and Cena has been 10 years ago now. Fucking wild, dude. So the next match here is the one that I was talking about that was just trash.
Let's don't skip over that fucking promo though, because during that promo for the Rock and Cena, we got a fucking training montage at Cena's gym that we saw like an NXT Roman Reigns, Xavier Woods, Big E.
I think that was on the next one, wasn't it? Or that's later on in the show, isn't it?
No, that was the training
where that
montage
package was?
right after the chamber match, and then before the women's match.
Oh yeah. I thought I'd written it down because it was weird because like pretty much all of the current main event guys are like in that package.
Like, literally, like I said, we got Roman Reigns at his gym, Xavier Woods, Big E, Seth Rollins, EC3, Tangaloa, and we got John Moxley there briefly. He saw him briefly, and then is there anybody else that I missed in there?
Wade Barrett was in there.
And Wade Barrett, and they saw, and Big E had all the records
Gabriel,
for like all the powerlifting records.
Yeah.
Like he set everything at the gym.
Yeah.
It's crazy because all those guys are either world champions or multi-time tag champions.
Yeah.
EC3, he was at least TNA world champion. So now
he's running, the Trump Jr. promotion. So
that's what we've been hearing. So we'll see how that actually turns out.
You heard about Velveteen Dream signing, right?
Is he really signing?
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, it's a real thing.
So it's the cancel promotion, like Austin Aries, Flip Gordon.
I bet
Velveteen Dream.
I bet
Marty Scurll.
Yeah, Marty Scurll. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
He posted like a little clip with Flip Gordon recently, so
put him in there, man. Put him in there.
It's just like, hey, if you've ever done anything fucked up and you've been canceled, come wrestle for us.
Honestly, I'm kind of there for that actually. Like, let's see one of them. Like, let's see somebody recover. You know what I mean? Like, you can't let mistakes define you for your whole life. I get that. It is what it is.
Let's see how it goes whenever.
We'll see what happens.
Out, but let's don't go too far off the trail.
Of mistakes defining people, we got Tamina, a green Tamina in this match here. It's Tamina Snuka still at this point versus Beth Phoenix for the WWE Divas Championship. Absolutely not. That's my first line is absolutely not. I fast forwarded the majority of the match. I watched it at time and a half. I like as soon as I saw Tamina's, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm not. Like I was already pissed that we had to like add this show, and I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. So I literally, where I like normally do my equal sign for what the match is gonna be, I just put poor Beth and a clown face. Hard pass. I just did. I did like unpause it from time to time, and it was sloppy and shitty and bad. So I knew I was right for fast forwarding it. I'm just gonna say dud to be nice. What did you think about this one?
I didn't give it a dud, but it wasn't good. And it's funny that you said still the last name because my title says Tamina with the last name when people didn't know about the murder versus Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
And it was not good. And Tamina has always been awkward in the ring.
Always.
Because she did not look good here. I thought like maybe she just like has got shittier over the years because some people do get shitty, but she was just never been good.
Nope.
And only thing I can say about this is it wasn't too long.
Not enough.
It's pretty short. And they oversold the Jimmy Snuka stuff on commentary. Like fucking sold it. It was just annoying as hell. And so I gave it a beer. That's it.
Dudzo for me. Swig of beer.
Beth Phoenix couldn't help it. She couldn't choose her opponent.
I know. I did say poor Beth, but it was what it was. We did get a little shot of Jericho in the back getting checked out. And then we get King thanking Nickelback for the theme song. So that was a big gag. Then we got Laurinaitis coming out, and we essentially get a SmackDown segment here on a pay-per-view. It's just Laurinaitis comes out and gets interrupted by Alberto Del Rio, another gag. Then we get Mark Henry who comes out, and then we essentially get a segment.
And
like
Christian comes out too.
And it's all like it felt like this should be on TV, and this was still pay-per-view. Like this is before the network. This is pay-per-view, and this was like a raw
$50.
Dude, this was a 20-minute segment. Yeah, like this took place this was a match could have been here. It was bad. Then we get even more backstage stuff, a segment for Santino training. That was funny. Then we get a Big Show promo because we need more talking at that point. And the promo was not bad. It was not a bad promo. I could see where he was at. He's like, I need to prove myself, blah, 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 blah. And I agree. And I thought it was well delivered. Then we get the next Elimination Chamber. This time it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. Our entrants in this one are the Great Khali, Cody Rhodes, Santino Marella, Daniel Bryan, Big Show, and Wade Barrett. Why they chose Show and Barrett to start the match seems a little stupid.
Dude, my exact fucking notes, dude.
Like, you should have definitely had Cody and Barrett start the match. I feel like that would have been, you could have had a really good solid 5 minutes of good bell-to-bell wrestling. That being said, Show This is probably one of Show's best bell-to-bell performances I'd seen for this extended period, like how long that he was in the match. Like for a long Big Show match, there were no Big Show botches. There were botches in this match, but there were no Big Show botches, and that's rare. Like that's what I'm saying. There was not one, and it was, dude, this is a long match, and I honestly felt like Big Show looked like a main eventer in this match. Sometimes he's like, we all say like Big Show's a hit or miss guy. This match, he was a hit. Like he was good in this match for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I will say that like Wade and Cody bumped like madmen for Big Show too, and that definitely like helped a lot. I did like that Santino got like a quick pop from the comedy angle and then pretty much kind of laid out for the majority of the eliminations. I thought that was smart. I don't know. I felt like bell to bell again, this one was booked really well. I thought, Big Show kind of breaking into the pod was cool. I thought that double suplex that Wade and Cody gave Show on the steel was sick. That was just a thick one for sure. I love that Khali got in to just knock down people poorly and just immediately got eliminated. I thought that was awesome. I really did like that, actually. Yeah, I mean, I thought overall this was pleasantly surprised me. I mean, Cody going out to Santino hurt my feelings, but he sold it well and kind of got his heat back right away, and so that's okay. The crowd popped super loud for it too, so you got to give the people what they want, and if Santino's the hot gimmick, funny, haha guy right now, that's okay. The bell-to-bell was pleasantly surprising, including from Santino. I thought he wrestled well too when it came down to him and Bryan. I mean, although I will say that by the time, I don't know if I'm fine with him being in the final three. Like if you want to keep the crowd into it and get those pops, but really when it comes down to like him in the last two, it's like at that point, like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not, it's like there's no, I don't know. It was a very good match. Not as good as the first one, but still very, very good. I give it 3 3/4 beers. So almost 4 beers, almost great, but very good. I mean, the only thing that irks me is that this is the second Elimination Chamber match on the show, and there's 2 Elimination Chambers and no title changes. And that's just kind of not a good way to book your show, especially when it's called Elimination Chamber, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then we also got Sheamus. That's when Sheamus comes out and gives like Bryan the Emerald Fusion. The dude's on the poster, and he literally just comes out and like plants Daniel Bryan, and that's it. That's all he does on the whole show. I don't know. Feels like bad promo there. What do you think about the match, though?
Honestly, I did not think it as good as you thought it was. I went right in the middle. I thought it was a 3-beer chamber match.
No way.
Just because I'm going on chamber really? I'm rating this against other chamber matches kind of too, because we've been in chamber season kind of, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
And like you said, dude, Big Show and Barrett was the most poor choice to start the match out with, because it was just not exciting. It was slow. And then like even when Cody got in there, it was still kind of slow. Like,
I disagree. Really I thought it was great.
Once they got 4 people in there, that's when it really picked up for me.
Yeah.
And I like the change of pace with the Santino stuff. It wasn't really what I wanted at the moment for the match, but I kind of like it. It worked. And, dude, like you said, that bump with the Big Show and the Steel Grate, it fucking bent it.
Yeah, that hurt me.
And the match was going on for a while, and then it was going to it was like the last 2 or 3, and then the Great Khali's thing came out, and I said, fuck, I forgot the Great Khali was in this. And I was like, at least his song's a banger. His song is a banger. You got to give him that. Yeah, it was great. I love that one. The song he was using at this moment, when he was a heel, it wasn't as good, but when he was doing the Punjabi Playboy, he had a tight ass song. Punjabi Playboy. But I did like how, just like you said, he came in there, did a couple poor like head chops and head butts, and then immediately got eliminated by the Big Show. He did a nice like fast agile elbow like running off the ropes and stuff. Like Big Show was really working his ass off in this match. That's what I'm saying. Taking bumps, giving shit, like really getting it in. And I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, average 3 beers. There's been way worse chamber matches, and there's been way better ones. This was, I don't know, it was pretty good.
Agreed. See, I mean, I went 3 3/4. I feel like you could have done a little better than average, but anyway, so we got Sheamus, coming out and dropping Daniel Bryan with the Emerald Fusion. Then we get Swoggle and Natalia in the back doing a promo about cheese. And of course, that leads to Teddy Long scheduling a match between Swagger and Gabriel. So that whole thing was awful. And the match here is Jack Swagger versus Justin Gabriel for the WWE United States Championship. It seems like you could have spared some TV time to make this a bigger deal. But I digress.
They had that 20 fucking minute promo of bullshit, and this could have been an actual match.
Yeah, I mean, the match isn't bad, but there's no crowd reaction and there's no story. I mean, this is a dark match level as far as crowd interest. And I mean, I get that it's supposed to be a down match between, like, you know, the Chamber and the main event, but again, I digress. The bell-to-bell was solid for like a Raw or SmackDown level match, but nothing special and definitely not good enough to be on a pay-per-view. It was not bad. It was just super bland. I needed some more salt and pepper. It was just like plain-ass chicken breast. Like, it was a good chicken breast, I guess, but there was just nothing on it. I gave it a beer and a half. Where are you at on it?
Winner, chicken dinner. I also gave it a beer and a half. Crazy, because that's such a random ass rating to give something. But
yeah.
But I did give it a beer and a half. And dude, commentary the whole time just talked about like Jerry Lawler dating young girls and Michael Cole winning at WrestleMania. They didn't care about this match because this match didn't fucking matter. There were some cool little moves in the match, and like the execution, the work rate wasn't bad. Swagger was real stiff. He was real stiff here, giving some hard ass shit. And then it just like suddenly ended, and I was like, okay, that was fucking underwhelming. Like,
Swagger's always stiff, by the way. He's still stiff to this day.
I mean, I've never liked Swagger, but he wasn't bad in this match. And Gabriel is one of those like underrated guys who,
I agreed.
Just, I don't know.
He's Ricochet. Great belt.
Hopefully he comes back with the new ROH because that's where he was working before, you know?
Yeah,
because he was working for Lucha Underground and was doing some really sick shit for them, and then he broke both of his ankles skydiving. I remember, and was like real fucked up for a while.
What a fucking idiot! All right,
I know. Or no, he was doing parkour or skydiving, some stupid shit. I don't know. But hopefully to see PJ Black as he goes by now out there, maybe soon with the new Ring of Honor when it comes back or somewhere, because he's a good wrestler.
Nah, he's got to be like in his 40s at this point too. He could just be done.
Yeah. Maybe help some young. Maybe teach some flips.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so after that, we got a promo for The Rock and Cena and Mania. And then we get a package for Kane and Cena in the ambulance match. Listen, I get it. It feeds Cena a monster in an aggressive style gimmick match to boost him for the loss to The Rock at Mania. It's old school pro wrestling booking, and I get it. I will say I had completely forgotten about the Eve, Zack Ryder, and like with neck brace storyline. I had forgotten all about that.
I remember watching this storyline play out, like watching Raw and stuff at this time, but I didn't realize it was part of this feud.
It was a repressed memory. Like, I'd forgotten about it, and then as soon as I saw that ambulance segment and Eve kissed Cena, I was like, oh, I remember. It like flooded all back. Like,
yeah, I remember ordering this fucking. I ordered the pay-per-view, like Rock versus Cena, the first one. I ordered it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I always watch Mania. Even in years that I didn't really watch wrestling, I watched Mania.
And did you notice they said this multiple times, said this is the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, but now they're billing Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Does it just depend on what year it is if it's the biggest match of all time?
Well, I think I think it's generational too. I think people in their 20s could honestly believe that Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns could be just as big, if not bigger, than John Cena versus The Rock. I do genuinely believe that.
Hogan Rock is probably the biggest Mania match of.
Well, we're going to talk about that during WrestleMania season. You better damn believe it. That's going to happen. That's on the books.
We're going to have to definitely do a little list show of ranking our top favorite WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, we could do that as well. We got some good plans for some lists here coming up soon. We're going to throw those at you after WrestleMania season for sure. But let's get into the match here. It's Kane versus John Cena in an ambulance match. I'm going to keep this real short and sweet. It's just a big brawl. That's what it is. It's not bad, but it's not my style at all. It's well done for what it was. The big bump off the ambulance looked good. The production team did a good job with it. It's just not my cup of tea, man. That being said, I went right down the middle with it. I didn't really care for it, but I completely understood the booking for it to make John Cena look big for the Mania main event. I gave it 3 beers, right down the middle. What'd you think about Kane versus Cena?
Hey, I'm very, very close to you. I went 2.75, 2 3/4 beers, almost 3 beers. And this match, like during the PG era, a match like this without blood, it's less impactful. It just seems kind of like.
I agree.
Because I'm used to how we are now. Like when if it's a serious match, there's going to be fucking blood.
As well, there should.
These crazy bumps of this crazy, all these steps and stuff, and using a wheelchair as a fucking weapon, like hitting your opponent in the face of the wheelchair, and there's no blood. Even with Kane wearing a mask, he's been in First Blood matches wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I mean,
but Kane's gotten really good color under a mask before. Like, it's happened. He knows how to do it.
yeah, I've seen great. Like, mask does not hinder blood. All I'm saying is that just kind of lame. And then whenever he put Kane in the wheelchair and shoved him into the production equipment, that was one of the lamest things I've ever seen in my life. It was so weak. It was almost as weak as the finish of Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner. I was just like, what are y'all doing here? Come on now. Let's go ahead and take it home. So fucking lame. Yeah, but 2.75 beers twice in a lifetime.
Twice in a lifetime, yeah.
I always say that because they built this as once in a lifetime, and then like 2 years later happened again. But Kane is not very popular recently with his tweets there on the internet saying some crazy shit.
I mean, honestly, he didn't really say that crazy as shit though. Like, I mean, like I don't even understand why he's getting poo-pooed on. Like, he's definitely not like supporting Russia or anything. It's like, if you look at the tweet, he's just saying like, he's saying everything that you would expect a Republican to say. Like, and he's not even being like egregious. Like, he's not. I mean, I feel like he straight up said like, don't send troops. It's not our war. Don't get involved. Like, and then like he replied to that tweet with this one, and then Hangman Adam Page quoted that one, and it's like, oh, okay, come on, guys. What does it matter?
All I'll say is fuck Kane and his crazy libertarian bullshit, and I like Hangman Adam Page. He's a good wrestler.
I will not say that. I will definitely not say that.
I will. You heard it first from Wex breaking the Lawson.
That's fine. I don't associate with the poor people. Let's keep it rolling here, though. Let's talk about what we got on the schedule. I mean, I think that you got to give it to the Elimination Chamber, right? Like, it's got to be...
Dude, 100%, dude. Elimination Chamber 2012. Like you said, a last-minute thing. I didn't know what to expect, but we came in and got a really fucking good show.
Oh, yeah. Last minute, like, I'm glad that we added it. I'm glad that was the one for sure. I'm excited, though. We've got a ton of really cool shit coming up as well. Unanimous decision here, though. For this kayfabe comparison, it's got to be Elimination Chamber 2012. I would say the matches to watch are the two Elimination Chamber matches. Like, those are the two good ones. First one for sure is the better one. But yeah, I'd say watch both. I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, like even the worst matches on the Chamber are way better than the worst matches on Destination X.
Way better. Yeah. Way better for sure.
And they're both gimmick match centric shows. But WWE in 2012 was doing a better job than TNA in 2007.
They really were. They really were doing it better. I agree. Speaking of companies that are just doing it better, next week we're finally covering a new AEW pay-per-view. I'm very excited. Tony Khan just announces that he's bought in Ring of Honor, and now we have AEW Revolution. The name of the pay-per-view is Revolution. Do you think we're going to see like some Ring of Honor guys just pop up? I think it's going to happen.
I mean, you never know. So speaking of AEW Revolution, are you ready to do your predictions, your picks for the upcoming pay-per-view?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get into the picks for this coming pay-per-view.
All right, so
what do we got? Give me the card, baby.
Let's get right into it. First match we got on the card: Jade Cargill versus Tay Conti for the TBS title.
Still Jade. I don't think it's time for them to take it off of her yet. Although I do like Tay Conti, and I think she's probably the most improved wrestler on the women's roster since the inception until now. I think if you watch her matches from 2 or 3 years ago till now, she's worlds better. I think that she deserves to be in that title picture for sure.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go Jade Cargill. It's way too early to have her lose it. It's going to be a big deal, a big feud, a big match, not something that's built over like a few weeks when she loses her title. It's not going to – it's going to be more impactful. So, yeah, I agree with you. So, the next match, a trios match, the AHFO featuring Matt Hardy, Andrade El Idolo, and Isaiah Cassidy versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara.
I'm really upset that the TNT Championship is not being. I'm just not happy with this booking here, and I feel like it's not fair for us to say, you know, AEW. Like, this is lazy booking here. Like, this is not the best way to use Darby. It's not the best way to use. Something better could have happened here. Maybe a 4-way for the TNT title. Even if you don't want to take it off Sammy, it would have been a much better match. Even if it was like Sammy versus Darby versus Andrade versus somebody else, maybe even a surprise entrant. I don't know. I just feel like this is a miss. I don't like this, but I will side with the baby faces. I think Sammy and Darby and Sting get it.
I agree that it's not the best booking, but I disagree on the pick. I'm going to go the heels because it's not a title match.
Nah.
And we got the incoming of
Tony Khan's a babyface guy. He's not a heel guy.
But I don't know. I see them getting the victory here because that's not going to hurt the baby faces, but it'll still give these guys a victory. But moving on, the next match is a 3-way tag team match for the World Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks.
I am going to go... Ooh, this is tough. This is a tough one.
It is. Because I have my original choice and then I changed it.
I'm going with Red Dragon. I think Jurassic. I think it's time for Jurassic to drop it. They've had him for a while now. It's time for them to drop him. I don't think the Bucks get him back right away. I think it makes more sense for Dragon and Bucks to feud. I think it's Dragon.
Okay, that was actually my initial pick, but I feel like Jurassic Express is going to keep the titles. They're going to retain, but Red Dragon is going to somehow cost the Young Bucks from winning the titles leading into their feud, or vice versa, one of the two. But I don't see.
I feel like there's no feud without the titles. I feel like that's not an. I mean, it's a 3-way match.
There's the whole Adam Cole thing and the whole elite. And there's already a great storyline going there. But I mean. I'm gonna stick with Jurassic Express, even though my first pick was Red Dragon. I see where you're going, but I went in a different direction. But I'm gonna stick with the JE. All right, so our next matchup: Jon Moxley versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
It better be Bryan Danielson. It should be Bryan Danielson, and it better be Bryan Danielson. If they put Jon Moxley over Bryan Danielson, I will again say this is bad booking. It's just not a smart decision.
Well, I'm picking the not smart decision, and I'm thinking Jon Moxley's going to win this one, and that's going to lead to the gaining the respect from Bryan Danielson to start their little faction.
You think they're going to start a faction?
Yeah.
As baby faces?
No, as heels.
As heels.
Yeah.
So who else? Like I know we're spinning here, but who gives a shit? Who else do you think?
They've already done it. They said they were going to get Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia and whoever else. They're going to be like a pure wrestling type of faction. They need one more older guy. I know. I mean, I've seen those promos, but it's like bring in Cesaro. I don't know. That could work.
That could work actually. Actually, yeah, that's a great idea. Or Gargano.
Yeah, great, perfect. Hey, come on, Tony. You're listening to the podcast. We're giving you some ideas. Yeah. But all right, moving on. A match that I'm actually looking forward to. It's going to be pretty sick. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston.
Jericho, but he turns full heel.
I'm going Eddie Kingston.
I mean, they've been teasing this actual heel turn for a while, and I think this is. I mean, Jericho cheats.
And he's still going to turn heel, but I think Eddie Kingston's going to win and then get his heat back.
I think Jericho needs the win actually more than Eddie does right now.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm going Eddie. You got Jericho, so we got some good.
Oh, we got tons
picks.
of yeah.
All right, great. So the Face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT Championship. All the participants so far are Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee, Wardlow, Ricky Starks.
I mean, it's Keith Lee's going to win, but yeah.
Okay. And there's somebody else that has a qualifying match. It's like Ethan Page and somebody else has a qualifying match on Rampage or whatever. So I don't know who else is going to be in it. I'm going Wardlow as the winner.
It's Keith Lee. They're gonna keep teasing this whole thing with Wardlow until it becomes an MJF thing. So that's not going to happen.
Well, that's kind of where I'm going with this because on Dynamite he was like, "All right, if you win the TNT Championship, I'll let you keep it." And then they got into an argument, and then he slapped him. And he said, he goes, "Well, I'm too busy losing as I'm helping you win." And then MJF slaps him, and we'll get into it when I predict another match. But, yeah, I got Wardlow. You got Keith Lee. So the next match, Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa for the Women's World Championship.
Britt Baker.
I'm going Thunder Rosa, and I'm saying it's going to end with a Jamie Hayter turn.
Nah, it's Britt Baker.
They've been teasing it slightly if you look at her facial expressions. But you got, all right, good. We're all fucking different. Baker, I got Rosa. All right, so CM Punk versus MJF.
MJF.
I'm going Punk since MJF won the first one. And I'm saying this is going to end with a full Wardlow face turn MJF breakup.
Nah, not yet. They're still teasing it. I know everyone thinks that's going to happen, but that's not what's going to happen.
But when it happens, we're never going to know because they tease it so much. We're like, nah.
Nah, they're going to drag this motherfucker on for at least a year, bro. And that's fine. I think it's fine.
Okay, but all right, I'm going Punk. You're going Wardlow, dude. So it doesn't matter at this point. And then the main event, Hangman, Adam Page versus Adam Cole, baby.
I want to hear yours first.
I'm going with Adam Cole.
Yeah, me too.
With interference, he's winning the title.
Me too. I think they pull the trigger on him. I really do. I think they pull the trigger on him.
You think it's going to be a Red Dragon, Adam Cole, undisputed, all the titles again?
I think that's how the show ends, with them doing maybe even their hand. I don't know if you can trademark a hand gesture. I don't think you can because everybody's doing the too sweet. So I think they could do the UE. I really do think they could get away with it.
Maybe they'll debut like something new for their new name for the new faction.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So that's because that was my initial thinking with that pick for Red Dragon. Then I went Jurassic Express, but we're on the same page for the main event. So all right, all of our picks are different. I guess we'll check next week when we do our review of the show and see who has the most picks right, because it could be anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a ton to go back and forth on. It's going to be up in the air for sure. I'm going to try to be live tweeting as much as I can. I will be on vacation in Florida, so actually, to be honest, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to watch it live, which is sad. But it is what it is. I'm excited. We are going to be covering that against WWE's No Way Out from 2007. I will let you know that, again, because I'm going on vacation, I've already started to watch that show as well. And it's not as bad as it sounds on paper, if that makes sense. Now, I will say the gimmicks, the background stuff, not great. The writing and the storylines, not great. But some of the bell to bell, pretty great. So if that says anything, and then 2 weeks from now, it's the Baker's Dozen with Mr. Jesse Baker hosting, and Jesse Butler, one of the originators of Southern Underground Pro, or SUP for short, is going to be his guest. I am hyped for that. Bro, how you feeling about AEW versus No Way Out, and also having Jesse Butler on the Baker's Dozen in the next 2 weeks?
Definitely excited for that No Way Out. That 07 WWE, like you said, the writing's questionable. As you can see, TNA 07, they were trying to kind of be in that same lane, that same vein. So it's going to be very interesting when it comes to them storylines. And the Baker's Dozen, Jesse and Jesse, it's going to be a fantastic show. Both great guys. Interested to hear some more insight on old Jesse Butler. I know him vaguely, not very well, but he's a good guy in the wrestling community.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited. If you don't know who Jesse Butler is, go ahead and Google it, man. If you don't know what Southern Underground Pro is, you've been missing out for years, because that is probably one of the better indie promotions.
They got a show coming up in April, and I think this is going to be Jesse's last show working for them as kind of a send-off podcast interview type beat.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. I know that's a good thing for both sides, so I'm really excited to see what's up and coming for Jesse Butler. It's going to be great, man. And the rumor has it that Mr. Jesse Baker himself, the patron saint of the Rock Block, might actually be on our show next week as well. I'm not 100% certain on that, but he might be joining us. We might have the Holy Trinity covering that AEW and No Way Out show. But yeah, you know what? That's going to do it for us this week. You can always find the show at KayfabeCom on all the socials, except for the TikTok. You can find it at KayfabeComPod there. Mr. Wex Breaking the Lawson is doing his damnedest to keep us up to date on all the socials, and I am very appreciative of that. You can always find me at Daniel Daybreak. I'm pretty quiet, man. I'm an old man. I got 2 kids. I'm just trying to sell some houses and write some songs. My band, The Far Between, is actually brand new, though. If you want to go give us a follow, you can always find that band at The Far Between Band everywhere. Wex, give them the script, baby. Where can they find you?
You can always find your boy Wex breaking the Lawson at Wex breaking the Lawson on all your social medias. And of course, a little lay low on Facebook, but I'm gonna be back on TikTok soon more. I've been only fucking with the kayfabe TikTok. I got back into my account again recently, so I might post some more wrestling stuff, some skateboarding stuff. Be on the lookout for more content on the internet. We're ready to get engaged, ready to have some fun for some wrestling.
I'm excited about it, man. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're excited. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.
Peace.